So I just got back from the Mayo Clinic in Arizona about 2 weeks ago, just about. And I just wanted to share an experience there that I had that I feel like changed my life quite a bit. I was attending the pain management program there. It was an intensive outpatient program for 3 weeks. And it was intensive, very intensive. Maybe I'll talk more about that in a different video. But in this video, I mainly just wanted to share what happened there that changed my life. I wasn't expecting to go there and have this happen, but essentially by attending this dog. Wow. She's begging for my attention. She's demanding it. You're demanding my attention. Mira. Her name is Mira. I don't know if I'm able to. Hi, Mira. Oh, no, she doesn't like the camera. You say hello. Oh. Okay, sorry. I found parts of myself again that I didn't know I had lost in the process of several years of going from doctor to doctor to doctor to figure out my condition, to even get a diagnosis, let alone a treatment plan. And in that process, doctor after doctor after doctor would either, well, I don't want to bash on doctors because doctors work very hard and there are very, very good doctors out there. I think the system fails us a lot. You have to excuse me because part of my condition makes it difficult and painful to talk, but I'll do what I can. And so, yes, I was going from doctor to doctor to doctor and getting rejected, essentially saying that either, nothing was wrong with me. Some doctors, which wasn't helpful, essentially said it was all in my head. And that really made me shrink and withdraw a lot. Even though I was researching myself, actual articles and sharing them, but I was never taken seriously, unfortunately. And I don't blame the doctors. I think they're just overworked. And insurance makes things difficult a lot of the time. And they're pressured for time. So again, I'm not trying to bash on them. I just, again, the system, maybe I can make another video about this. But the system has its issues, definitely, I think. But it was wearing on me, and after being told over and over, there's nothing they can do, there's nothing wrong with me, it was all in my head. I think the air conditioning went on. Sorry if the audio is messed up now. In my case, it would be the heat because it's cold outside. Like I said, I started to withdraw and shrink, and instead of researching and sharing, what I had. I just stopped doing that and stopped caring, and just lost hope, and started to believe that maybe this is all in my head. Maybe there's nothing wrong with me. Maybe I'm just a wimp. And that was hard. I didn't realize really at the time that it was happening. I think all I really wanted was for someone to listen to me, first of all, and believe me that, as the patient, that what I was experiencing was in fact what I was experiencing. And it wasn't just something made up in my head. And then work with me, professional to client or patient or whatever you want to call it. The expert on their in their field. I wanted the expert in their field to work with the expert on herself, and then take the information of the expert on herself and research based on their expertise in their field, and just do some work to figure it out. But I think that's what I kind of expected of the system to do, they're experts in their field and to do the research. But unfortunately, and there were 2 doctors. I have to say this. There were 2 doctors that really worked for me. And I really appreciated that. The problem is that the majority did not, and that got in my head. So, but I think doctors just, like I said, are overworked and they don't have time to do that. Even though I think that should be part of the job, personally. But it's just not realistic with the way the system works. And my dad was a doctor. My brother is a doctor. I am familiar with how things work. I have many doctors in my family and nurses, and I know that the system is not kind to them. But when I went to the Mayo Clinic, I started seeing doctors there, and I had a better experience. Excuse me. Sorry, I have to stretch my tongue sometimes because that hurts. Unfortunately, there was still, I felt like, nothing was coming up, nothing that they could do, and I just was still, I don't know, at that point I was pretty broken. And then there was this pain management doctor that encouraged me to go to the pain management program, clinic, intensive outpatient program, the 3-week program that I did attend, but at the time he was encouraging me to do it. I hadn't done it yet. And I thought it was just, if I'm being honest, I thought it, I feel bad saying this, but just with my experience, I thought the system had treated me, really. I thought it was just a cop-out, because that had happened a lot, like I'd been sent back and forth between the same doctors, GI doctor says, go see the ENT. The ENT says, go see the GI. The GI says, go see the ENT. And they send you back and forth and one doctor actually finally admitted to me, we just do that when we don't know what to do and we don't want to admit that we don't know what to do. That was actually refreshing to have a doctor admit that to me. It was very refreshing. Doctors are honest. It really makes you trust them so much more and appreciate them so much more. So, the doctors out there that are honest, thank you. And those that have been honest with me, thank you. And also, doctors, thank you for all your work. Like I said, I know the system itself doesn't treat you well, and I believe you're all doing your best. A little side tangent, really quick. I feel like I need to explain myself, which I probably don't. This is just an insecurity thing, something I'm insecure about. Before my health went downhill, I felt like I wasn't brilliant by any means, but I wasn't the dullest tool in the shed, so to speak. I had a mind that could think, that could reason, that was intelligent, and could speak eloquently, and could certainly think faster than I do now. And I think my insecurity now is that after all I've been through, it feels like my brain has slowed down a lot. It's hard to reason, it's hard to think through things, it's hard to learn. Particularly, what's really hit me is that I just can't think of words a lot. Sometimes I'll be talking in the middle of a conversation and forget what I'm saying in the middle of what I'm saying. What the point to it is. And I know that happens to the average person, but I feel like it happens to me more often than the average person. But I don't know. It could all just be in my head. I become quite insecure through this process of becoming sick, trying to figure out the diagnosis, not having a diagnosis, and not having any validation that anything is wrong. And just feeling like I'm weak. And I grew up quite the opposite of that. With dad as a doctor, it was just always, in fact, I was told often, when I was sick, it's all in your head. Just tell yourself it's all in your head and you'll get better. You won't feel sick anymore. That actually was my mentality growing up. So yeah, I already had that mentality, and it just got broken down so bad, and I became insecure. Feeling like maybe I really am weak. And so, yeah, I thought that this doctor that told me to go to this 3-week program was using it as a cop-out. Like, I don't know anything that can help you. I'm just going to send you there because I don't know what to do with you. That's how I'm admitting to myself how I really felt. That's how I felt. I didn't want to go because of that. I was like, if that's just what you're doing, why would this ever help me? But personally, I was a bit desperate. I was really struggling in a lot of pain. I felt like it was also a spiritual thing for me, personally. I felt like I needed to put in effort. I needed to keep putting in effort to show God that I was trying, so that God could use my effort to make miracles. So I decided I might as well go into the interview process, because they have to interview to see if you're a good candidate. So I went, and the woman who interviewed me was wonderful, lovely. I really liked her. I still do. I still wasn't convinced, though. And she later told me that she didn't think she had convinced me. And it wasn't anything to do with her. It just, was the years of just being beaten down. But again, it came back to I wanted to show God that I was putting effort. So even though I was skeptical, I called and went for it. 1 second. I think my husband's coming up the stairs. We're going to have to... Oh. And she's back. Nice. What? What is it? What do you want? What do you want? I wish you could see her. It's so funny. I wish I knew what animals were thinking. Alright, so I called them to set up time to go, and I had to wait 3 or 4 months, I think. So I went. Again, skeptical, but trying to be open-minded because I knew that 0 open-mindedness means 0 chance of progress. So, anyway, I went through a really hard time there. Really hard. By the 4th day, my symptoms had regressed over like a year's worth of time, and I was struggling a lot. But the PT there on the 5th day, I think it was, I had an experience. I was really struggling. I didn't want to be vulnerable to the people there because about what I was actually going through, because I've been burnt so many times when I was vulnerable with doctors, unfortunately, not believing me, not working with me, sending me off to other doctors, not being able to do anything. Just, again, not their fault, just the system. And I wasn't prepared to be vulnerable mentally. And anyway, I had an experience that I'm not going to talk about here, but to me it was a sacred experience, and it pushed me towards that vulnerability. Helped me have the courage to do it, and so I did. And it was that day that the PT was like, oh, what? That's what's going on? Here, like, of course I believe you. Like, why wouldn't I believe you? And I told him about things that I thought were connected. Oh gosh, I just realized I do not know if this mic is working. I don't think it is. Oh well. If it's not, it's not, and I apologize. Maybe I'll have to remake this video. We'll see what I do. I don't know if I have the voice to remake this video. So, if that's the case and I don't remake it, I apologize. If it's hard to hear, I just realized I never actually checked to make sure if the mic was working. Obviously, I'm really good at this not videography, this video stuff, filming stuff. Anyway, so the PT there was like, yeah, those things that you think are connected, it's very possible. And it's not impossible, as all the doctors had told me, every single one of them that I talked to about it. And then he was like, here, let me give you some research that shows you. how it is possible that they, in fact, could be connected. Not saying they are, not saying they're not. It's a possibility. And that's what I have been thinking all along. That was so refreshing. And so the PT started to do what I wanted all along. First, believe me, then believed in me, worked with me with what I was saying and the knowledge that he had, and did a bunch of research himself and gave me that research to help me understand and talk me through it. And by the way, it wasn't just me he did this with. He does it with all of his patients. This is an amazing guy. Yeah, for the next 3 weeks, did that day after day after day after day with me. And it changed me just to be believed and validated. It did not change my symptoms. In fact, my symptoms got worse physically. Much of them got worse before they got better. Some of them did get better over time, especially specifically after I got home and kept doing my PT, but wasn't forced to talk all day every day and was able to rest my voice a bit. But even though my symptoms were actually getting worse, I changed. I felt like I started getting parts of myself back I didn't know I lost, which, like I mentioned earlier, parts of that were confidence, self-confidence in myself, right? Also, the ability to laugh and have fun. I had lost that. I still feel like I'm trying to get it back a little bit, and then just my spontaneous, fun-loving nature, and the joy that I can get out of having fun with people, loving to be with people, even though it does actually make my symptoms worse being with people just because talking still worsens my symptoms every day. But as I found these parts of myself again, it was like, I can't even explain to you. I'm still thinking through this. What exactly about it made it so that despite my symptoms either not changing or getting worse, I felt like life was more manageable. I don't know. I felt more capable, more confident, more interesting as a person. I had lost my interest in music. I even lost parts of myself like that. As I was getting sick, I just, the depression, everything, I was just losing interest in things that you normally are interested in. And just being believed and believed in and worked with really changed that dramatically in me. And there's a lot more that I could say about it, but this video is already over 30 minutes and I need to rest my voice. So we'll see if I make another one, but I just really want to emphasize the point of the importance of believing in others, in their potential, in what they're saying their experience is and just working with them, loving them, supporting them, staying by their side. Even if maybe you don't agree about everything in life, you can still believe in somebody. And we all just need to try to be understanding of all of the different experiences and open to, oh wow, this is your experience. Let me try to understand that better. And hopefully you can also understand my experience as well. And as we work with one another, believe one another, believe in one another, work with one another, we can start to make connections and work towards finding truth. Because as we start adding all of these different experiences from others, right? And believe them and be open to them, right? We start to see the bigger picture, right? I'm not really good at ending things. I don't even know if I'm going to post this, but especially considering whether this is working or not. Because I really don't want to film this again. But I hope that somebody was able to find something helpful out of it. And if somebody does, I would appreciate it if you would let me know, because that would help me. If it really is helpful, I do want to make more videos. I want to help people. I really don't want to share my story. I don't want it to. I don't like being this vulnerable in front of internet strangers. If you did find this helpful, please comment and let me know. And let me know what about it was helpful, so that I can kind of get a direction as to how it can be more helpful to people. Because I feel like I've had experiences that others have had too, but they don't really get talked about. And I think people need to hear more about it. So, and because they don't get talked about, people think that they're alone. I want to help. Thanks.